Hello there. As promised, I'm giving you guys my fiber syrup cooking class. Today, we're making the 2-ingredient magic syrup shortbread. Of course, that recipe is from the Treat Yourself Healthy Cookbook. That is right. It is on page 62. And it is a recipe that only uses 2 ingredients for a start, which is pretty magical in itself. If you can make shortbread with 2 ingredients, you're kind of winning, aren't you? Those 2 ingredients are like simple things, but the health benefits of those 2 ingredients cannot be denied. Cannot be denied. So I thought I would share with you guys my magic syrup shortbread. So, just know how easy they are to make. And when something's easy to make and it happens to be so incredibly healthy, and this recipe is so incredibly healthy, like it is mind-blowingly healthy, it kind of almost feels a bit of a shame to not make them, if that makes sense. It's one of those recipes that you can make in advance. You can store the dough, the raw dough, in your fridge. You can store the cookies pre-cooked in your freezer for up to 2 months. You can store the raw dough in your freezer probably for about 6 months. So you're never too far from something really healthy and really, really delicious. Now, the reason why these particular cookies are so incredibly healthy, and if you're wondering, to all our lovely folks joining us on Facebook today on the blue platform. If you're wondering, hi Janine, good to see you, my darling. You're doing both. That worked well. I was watching on TikTok and saw it go live on Facebook also. How good is that? You've got 2 angles. Janine's watching me on 2 angles. That's really cool. You get you get like the bird's eye view on TikTok, and you also get the Facebook straight in, coming really nice and close. See? Oh, you can see it good on both of them. But we're doing it live on both platforms today. Now, just a bit of a heads up to the Facebook audience. Straight after this cooking class with you guys, I'm going to be shutting this live down and then going right onto TikTok up there. And we're going to be doing a spice class because I've decided it's time to clean out my spice cabinet. It's spice cupboard. There's 3 levels of my spice cupboard. I'm going to be taking them all out. I'm going to be having a bit of a clean up. I've got a table full of spices that have been in the pantry that now need to either go into jars, get labeled. Something needs to happen to them. So we're going to do a spice class. And I think the great thing about spices is I'm going to be able to tell you guys just why I use certain spices and why they're good for our body and why you should incorporate them into your food, etc., etc. But before we do that, we're going to make some shortbread. Now, as I was saying before, the shortbread is really easy to make. 2 ingredients that have to be really healthy. The first ingredient is what I have in here, which is a nut flour. I'm using almond meal or almond flour, but it doesn't matter what sort of nut or seed flour that you use. I've done these with cashew flour as well, which turned out really, really good. You do definitely want to use one that's quite light in flavor. So what you'll find is that the really strongly flavored nut flours or seed flours can kind of alter the taste a little bit. They're still pretty good, but almond and cashew are definitely the preferred one. So I've got that in there. I'm also going to be using the second and the only other ingredient, which of course is our sweet as fiber syrup. Now, sweet as fiber syrup is something that we sell, and we're the only people in Australia that are currently selling this fiber syrup for someone to be able to take home or buy and then incorporate it into their supplement routine or incorporate it into their cooking. And yes, it cooks up really well. Now, the reason why I love this syrup is because it is a prebiotic dietary fiber, which means a couple of things. Firstly, it is a fiber. So it's going to increase your fiber intake for the day. Now, the average human should be having between 25 to 30 grams of fiber a day to make sure they're keeping the bowels and the digestive system really, really healthy. But the average human only consumes like less than 5 grams. And one of the reasons why, one of the things that we're seeing quite commonly now based on our low fiber intake, and this is very common throughout, Western countries. So Australia, New Zealand, throughout the US, throughout the UK as well, parts of Europe and even parts of Asia now. parts of South America, is that there's such little fiber being consumed regularly. We're getting a lot more cases of people being diagnosed with bowel or colon cancer because of the lack of fiber in the diet. Not only that, we're getting more cases of people having digestive upsets. We're having more cases of people just, not having such a good time with things either when it comes to their digestion, like lots more bloating, cramping, constipation, and or diarrhea. There's just a dysregulation in our gut, right? Well, this helps to solve that because it's a prebiotic dietary fiber. It feeds your healthy gut bacteria. That's the good guys that you want to have in your body. It feeds them. They're happy when they're having this stuff, which is super good, right? Super exciting. So this is the second ingredient. Now, I have to put out a warning though. This stuff is good. This stuff is so good you don't need much. And in fact, when I make these cookies, these biscuits, these little shortbreads, I would not sit there and eat a whole tray of them. I would slowly consume them like one a day because the fiber quality in here is so good, you actually don't need much. And if you have too many of them, you could suffer from having too much fiber, which is a lot of gas, even possibly bloating and a bit of pain. So you just got to watch your intake. A little does go a long way. In fact, the ideal dosage of our syrup is a teaspoon a day. You want to start off with about half a teaspoon, and that's why this recipe makes about 30 shortbreads, 20 to 30 shortbreads. So it's like one shortbread a day to keep you healthy, to keep your body humming along, to keep your digestive system humming along as well. They're that good. Some people it doesn't affect at all. The syrup, you don't even notice. My husband can have lots of it. He'll eat half a tray of these easily. But me, I'm one shortbread a day, might have it with my second or third coffee of the day after breakfast, and I'm feeling pretty good. So we've got gut health potential, massive, right? Massive gut health potential. We've also got the ability for this to help to manage our blood sugar. So our syrup's also really, really good for people who are who suffer from high blood sugar readings. Maybe you've got fatty liver disease. Maybe there's some insulin resistance. Maybe there is pre-diabetes or even type 2 diabetes. All of those things are wonderfully covered off with our syrup because it has the ability to help to manage blood sugar response. So it will slow down the emptying of your stomach, which means you won't get such a spike in your blood sugar, which is really, really, really important. You definitely don't want that. So that wonderful slow release that you get from a ingredient like this means you're not getting a big spike, means you're not holding on to fat and you're not holding on to inflammation. This syrup will help you become a fat burner. And yeah, you can just take it straight off the spoon because it tastes like candy floss, like fairy floss, like cotton candy. It absolutely does. It's just 2 ingredients in here. Inulin, chicory inulin, which is a plant, and water makes this amazing syrup. So really good for your gut, really good for your blood sugar. It helps with keeping you feeling fuller longer. So it's great with weight management, weight maintenance, and overall, it just tastes kind of nice. It makes really good shortbread. Let's get into the recipe. So in here, I have 200 grams. And hello to everyone who's joining me on the blue platform. We've got, of course, Janine, who's joining us on both. Hello, Janine. Hi, Janine. We've got Ruth, who's joining us as well. I've got Robin joining us, Debbie, Melanie, and Tony. Who have I got joining us here? Let me know on the black platform, which is there. Where are you joining me from? And we're even going live on YouTube. We can't see any comments coming through on YouTube, which is absolutely fine. But we are making some shortbread. Let me change it for you guys down here. Where are we? Hey, that's what we're doing. Oh, but then you can't see no, I'll take it off. You can't actually see the chopping board, can you? That's better. All right, are we ready? We're going to get into it. So it's really simple to make, by the way, like super, super duper simple. In my bowl here, I have almond meal. I have 200 grams of almond meal, aka almond flour. You can use almond meal with the skins attached, which will make it a little bit speckly brown, or I'm using just the blanched almond skins have been removed. Here's a really interesting note. When it comes to the quality of almond flour, you want to make sure that you're buying it obviously as fresh as you can. And once I'm buying it fresh, you want to store it ideally in the fridge because it will start to go rancid and start to oxidize if you just leave it in the pantry. So once my jar of almond flour has been opened, I like to store it in the fridge just pardon me, to keep it nice and French. So I've got 200 grams, which is 7 ounces of almond flour in here. And the difference between the nutritional difference between almond flour and almond meal is one with the skins attached, so it's speckly, is there's more nutritional value in the almond meal, but it's so small a difference. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, either way, whether you're having it with the skins on or not. That's completely up to you. I wouldn't fuss too much about it, to be honest. I would just get the almond meal, whether it's whether it's freckled or whether it's blonde like mine and completely one color, up to you. So we start with that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that wonderful syrup, and I'm going to start off with 4 tablespoons. Now remember, this makes 20 to 30 little shortbreads, so that may seem like a lot of syrup when I've said to you, you should only have half a teaspoon a day. That's why you only have a couple of cookies a day, right? Because you want to make sure that you're not overdoing it. So that goes in, and then we're just going to give it a bit of a mix. Now, what I'm looking for here, remember the syrup is sweet, so you don't have to add anything else because that's the sweetness, that's the binding agent, and this is the prebiotic quality all in one. This is the fiber that has now been added into it as well. And all we've done is add some syrup. So what I'm sort of feeling for now is more of a consistency. Now, this is a really good idea to pick up some gloves or really, really, really clean hands, because you're going to feel the texture of the potential dough. It's not dough yet, is it? No, it's not dough yet, but you're going to feel the potential dough by letting it squish through your fingers. I like to think that this is the fun bit. Oh, hello to Thona, who's joined. I just see that, and he's just joining us. And Sally, hello again, Judy. God, are you sick of me yet, Judy? Can't get my glove on. Yeah, my nails are too long. I would never have had. Can you guys even see these nails? You see these nails? You can see them through that. I would never, ever, 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 ever have had nails like that when I was cooking professionally, because there's just too much risk of contamination, right? But it's one of the reasons why now I think every time I want to touch food, I actually go for gloves, because when I was a young chef, we just weren't allowed to have, any type of adornment on our nails. We weren't allowed even just straight nail polish, because the nail polish could chip and end up in the food. And of course, our nails were always scrubbed at the start of the day. Well, good chefs should be in there cleaning their hands and using a nail brush to clean under their nails. And you should still be using gloves too as a chef, absolutely, but absolutely no nails. So having nails now is kind of weird, to be honest with you. I still find it really weird, and I hate having things that are stuck into my nails. So I'm all for the gloves. So what I'm feeling now in this texture is it does need a little bit more. So the recipe says 4 to 6 tablespoons. And the reason why it's 4 to 6 is because every almond meal or flour or whatever nut or seed flour that you choose to use for this recipe is going to have a different absorbency rate. So it all depends on how it's been processed or how it's been milled. A really fine almond flour may need a bit more syrup as opposed to more of a coarse one. And again, different nuts or seeds will require slightly different amounts of the syrup. So I say start with 4, start there, and then add it in slowly to see what happens and what I'm actually looking for. I'm looking for it coming together as a dough. And once it feels like it's coming together as a dough, I'm going to turn it onto my board and I'm going to make shortbreads, basically. It's that easy. So it feels good. Feels really, really good. It might need a little bit more, but you know what else is a really good idea if you just want to kind of bring it together and it doesn't need much? The other thing you can do, apart from making a big mess all over your bench, is just go to the sink, wet your hands, come back with wet hands. Watch this. Like this, wet hands. See, my hands are wet. That's it. And sometimes there's enough moisture in your hands to bring those final crumbs together. So, like I said, it's feeling pretty good. Look at that. Just that. No, I didn't add any water. Can you see what happened? It's really come together. I didn't have to add any more syrup because that is a lot of syrup in these shortbreads. That's why it literally is one little shortbread. Like I said, on the side of my coffee, after breakfast, I'll have my last coffee of the day, and I'll have a little shortbread on the side, which is going to help with all those incredible health benefits, right? All those absolutely super duper health benefits. So this is looking very nice. Oh, thank you. Judy was saying not sick of you yet. Oh, thanks, Judy. Okay, so now I've got a good sausage. I've got a good sausage, and all I'm going to be doing, just kind of, I'm nurturing it. I'm giving it little squeezes along the way, and just wanting to create a sort of a nice, even log of shortbread. So you could create it from a log and then cut it into rounds. Another thing that you could do is you could roll it out between 2 sheets of baking paper, which is also a nice way to get a consistent shortbread in it as well. The ones I've got in my recipe, can you guys see that? Can you see the cookbook? The ones I've got there, I actually made from a log, and it just required me kind of doing this type of thing, giving it a little bit of a push, giving it a little bit of love at the same time. Or, like I said, you can also roll it out. So up to you. If you want really kind of almost like coin-shaped ones, then you start with a log. If you're wanting them to be a little bit more flat and even, you roll them out between 2 sheets of baking paper, which is what I'm going to do right now. So hold on. Get the business. Okay. Baking. I'm going to do one big sheet. Baking paper, shortbread, fold over, go kind of in the middle if you can. Well, no, sorry, to one side. You've got a nice area to roll from. Can you guys all see that? Yes, you can. Rolly pin. And then we're going to do this. And it's nice and easy, isn't it? It's not hard. Nice and easy. And of course, because I'm rolling between 2 sheets of paper, it doesn't stick to itself. Oh, someone, what's that? Lucky if they let you want a wedding ring. You wear a wedding ring. Ah, yes, it's so true. I never wore any jewelry when I was cooking in professional kitchens. To this day, I don't have my ears pierced. So I don't wear, like, apart from, like, I wouldn't even be wearing bracelets. The only thing I would wear, if I had one, and I think back when I first started, I used to wear a watch. That's before phones. Showing my age, I used to wear a watch. But apart from that, I didn't wear any jewelry at all, not even a necklace, because if you're wearing jewelry, like even if like sleepers and studs and stuff weren't so bad, but if you're wearing jewelry, especially a necklace, and you are getting really close, like pulling the oven door down, and I'm talking about a commercial oven, and you're pulling that oven door down, and that necklace would heat up and you get burned. So you burn yourself from the metal or the gold or whatever it is, the silver would actually start to heat up. It was really uncomfortable. So I never ever, and even to this day, I'm not a big jewelry wearer. I've sort of just gotten into the habit. I've gotten into the habit of doing my nails because I want to look pretty. I want to look pretty. So I do my nails now, but man, there's no way I would have been allowed anywhere near food professionally with the nails that I currently have. But you know what? I'm really careful. I make sure that I'm wearing gloves when I'm touching food, especially if I'm squishing food. I always do that. And so I've gotten used to having the nails, but it still feels weird. It's weird. And like even having my hair out, there's no way I'd have my hair out in a professional kitchen. There's just no way. But I'm in my kitchen, so I'm allowed. Okay, so we've got a nice roll. I can actually happily take those off now. But yeah, look at these nails. There's no way I'd have those nails or that ring or those bracelets in the kitchen. There's just no way. No way would I be allowed. But you can now get a little cookie cutter to make your. Shall I get a cookie? Should I? Okay, wait there. I'll get a cookie cutter. Yeah, we're gonna do the cookie. I got a box of cookie cutters. Not just one, but a box. cutter. Let's have a little look. What cutter do we want to use? Again, I don't want them to be too big. I'm going for size here. I've got so many cutters. It's about finding the right one. I'm kind of looking for something around about that size. Can you see? That's pretty small. That's cool. I'm going to be boring. I'm doing them round. You know, I'm going to be boring. I'm going to be very boring, and I'm going to do them round. But shortbread are normally round or they're rectangular. From memory, it's been a minute since I've had some real shortbread made from, you know, butter and gluten. But being a good Scottish lass, if someone offered me a really good shortbread, I'd totally eat it. But majority of times I don't, right? It's an absolute treat food. But this little recipe here, and what I've called the magic, it almost becomes like this is like a supplement. You know, a supplement is normally like a pill that you take. This is so good. You could have this as a supplement on the side, like I said, on the side of your coffee, or just have one a day. Who wouldn't want to eat one cookie a day and feel pretty good about yourself? I mean, I know I would. So taking up my little round cutter, it's really simple. We're just going to make some little rounds. Those little rounds, and of course, go onto I've just got a lined tray here. You could use a silicone baking mat, of course. You could use, like I've lined it just with baking paper. I don't have a silicone mat small enough to fit this little tray, but that's okay. We make do. So this is it. This is all you gotta do. I know it's so simple. And it's like, oh, has anyone seen, actually, you know what we were doing today on Facebook? We were talking about diets and why diets don't work. And one of the diets I remember seeing pop up in my socials, especially towards the end of last year, or even may have been mid last year. That's my oven beeping, telling me it's done. I'm coming, and I'm talking too much. So one of the diets that I saw popping up a lot was the cookie diet. Did you guys see that one? Did anyone see the cookie diet? The cookie diet. It just is insane. Like, I shouldn't laugh. Actually, I'm not laughing. I'm kind of crying internally because it's these type of bad diets that are just so incredibly bad, right? They're so bad for people. They're so unsustainable. You know, there's very, very little research that's done into these types of bad diets, and the research that has been done is often what is known as being cherry picked. So they will take a particular line out of the research that they're looking at, and they will use that to represent their entire structure of the diet. And often the diet is so thinly cherry picked. And then they create things like cookies. You know, if you just eat these thick cookies, you're going to lose weight and be healthy. Lies, right? And that's why I say that this is a great little shortbread cookie that you can use as a supplement. Now, what does the word supplement mean? It means you're supplementing. It's on top of the other amazing things that you do, which is the most important part, which is eating the right food, not eating, you know, a cookie diet-based program, or, you know, not thinking that we can out-cookie a poor diet, because you can't. You can't out-cookie a poor diet. You just can't. It's really interesting being on these two platforms, because the color that I'm getting from you guys from the blue platform and just how clear it is compared with what I'm getting on the TikTok platform, it's night and day. That's why I prefer the TikTok going live. It's just so much more fun. And it's a better angle, it's a better connection, and there is way more better color. I don't have to use, you know, it looks like I've got studio lighting happening in my kitchen, whereas I'm doing exactly the same thing here, and the colors are really washed out. Does anyone who's doing both streams notice that? It's really washed out down there, and it's really, really nice up there, which is just crazy. Same time, same kitchen, same everything, and it's just so different. Okay, I've re-rolled the cut-offs just so I don't waste anything, and I do like this size cookie cut. I have to say, it's perfect for what I'm doing. I'm just counting. How many am I getting out of these? So far, I've got 4 by 5. So when I fill this tray up, there's going to be 20. I'm going to have more than that. I'm going to start off with 20. I've got 20 now. So all I'm going to do is pop these over to the oven now. The oven is set. Well, I've got to reset it. Set on 120 degrees Celsius, which is 250 degrees Fahrenheit. And they're going to stay in there for about 15 minutes. I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes. We're going to start with that, and then the cookies will be ready. So there you go, Facebook family. Hope you've enjoyed that. I promised you guys would do a cooking class because, of course, our wonderful syrup here is on special at the moment, 40% off. $9.95 is the cheapest we've ever done it. You go to Bridget's.shop, you can get or stock up on it. It is, I believe there are still stock. We sold quite a bit yesterday when I first announced the sale. We still have a bit more stock available if you'd like to purchase some. Stock up now. The best before date is right up to August, so you've got lots of time to make lots of things with it. And, of course, you can also use it as a straight supplement. So half a teaspoon on a spoon a day. You can add it to your coffee. You can add it to your tea. I like to put it through a little bit of iced coffee as well. That's how I've been having it, just half a teaspoon in my iced coffee in the morning. Is just absolutely wonderful. But now I've got my little cookies, my little supplement cookies. I'm kind of happy with that. Kind of happy. It's all good. So I will see you guys. If you are joining me on Facebook, come over to the TikTok family. I am Chef. No, I'm not. I am BHK Chef. BHK Chef. Over on TikTok. Over on TikTok. Come and join us. I am signing off from this platform now. Oh, Melanie's saying how long in the oven? About 15 minutes, depending on the thickness. If you do really thick ones, you're probably looking at about 25. Keep an eye on them. The oven's quite low. It's only 120 degrees Celsius. Someone also asked on Facebook where you find the syrup in Aotearoa, please. So you can buy the syrup of us. Obviously, we send it to New Zealand. I believe there is another lesser version of the syrup in New Zealand by a company called, I think they do a corn version, which is not as good. It's not as good prebiotics, unfortunately. Ours is the best. Ours is inulin, which is the best probiotic. So just letting you know about that as well. But you can potentially go and purchase that over in New Zealand. Just look for fiber syrup. Google it. All right, guys. I shall see you all soon. Come over to Facebook. Come over to TikTok because we're going to do a spice class now. I'm moving into spices. So have a great day, Facebook family. I'm going to be all yours in a second. TikTok family. I'm saying goodbye now. Have a great one. Bye, guys. Oh, and if you want to see what they look like when they come out of the oven, you've got to come to TikTok. Oh, naughty, aren't I? Yes.